Jeff Edwards, Blading for Truth, here with Joe White from New Surge Live. We have been accidentally doing these shows, I guess you can say, and we are now calling them, what are we, surging for? No, we're
Surging for Blade? Blading? I'll roll with it. Blading for Surge is
Blading
what...
for Surge, yes, that was the moniker that...
Which I'm drinking a Pepsi, so I don't know if that...
Yeah, I'm drinking coffee too, so...
Dude, I'm killing for a cup of coffee right now. But
have to have the coffee.
we're out of K-Cups, so...
You're a K-Cup guy.
Well, they got the K-Cup thing where you could put the little... it came with the filter to where you could put the coffee in.
Oh, okay.
But I always screw it up, and I like really strong coffee. But for some reason, it just doesn't turn out right as if you put a K-Cup in there, and I get the dark roast.
Yes.
And the chock full of nuts. I love chock full of nuts coffee because it's always so strong. But, like, I went to Geeksboro a couple weeks ago, that coffee shop I was telling you about, and... they have a iced caramel macchiato. I know it sounds like something a woman would drink, but I drink it anyway. It's nice. But the thing about it is their coffee is so good that the more you drink it and the more it sits, and even though the ice is melting into it, the stronger the coffee taste gets. So anyway, we're spending, we've spent 1 minute and 30 seconds now talking about coffee.
But this is what happens when we blade for Surge.
Yeah.
You know, but that's okay.
Anyway. Go ahead.
Anyway, I don't know if this will find its way on the network. 1640 PWPR, Spreaker.com, iTunes.com,
Facebook.com/1640 PWPR.
At 1640 PWPR.
Yeah.
On Twitter. So yes, if this does find its way on, so be it. If not, so be it. So a lot of things happened this weekend, and you know, you and I have been tweeting back and forth here and there, mentioning things. But what I wanted to do tonight in talking to you is break down, well, not so much of a breakdown, but mention ROH to begin with, and mention the fact that it has now been, 2-3 weeks, but you did finally get your Jay Lethal.
Yes.
He is back. He is champion, and Nigel McGuinness wanted to take a title from him. He wanted to make him make a choice. And Lethal said, "You're not taking anything from me.
You're not taking a damn thing away from me."
That's right. So, are you happy that Lethal has finally come back to the TV?
Dude, I'm ecstatic, man. It took them long enough.
Yes, it did.
And you know what kills me is that they admitted to wearing War of the Worlds footage and stuff, because it's like, oh, now we're here, now we're at Terminal 5 after a couple of weeks of War of the Worlds. So they acted like War of the Worlds kind of took place in between, you know?
Yes.
Which seemed, and they even had Watanabe on this show, the new episode, fighting Dalton Castle, which was great.
Yep.
Dalton Castle way over. I think even Dalton got the win over Watanabe.
He did.
And
that guy's getting a push.
the one thing that seemed awkward to me about that was that afterwards, when the young boys, his boys, as he calls them, got to say it like Dalton, my boys. It's like gold dust for the new era. I swear.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's way fucking over with me. I'm sorry. I'm straight, and I'm just like, I love you, Dalton.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I mean, so my thing is, and maybe it's the gimmick, but when the boys go for him to lay down for him to sit on, why don't they just sit with like on all fours with their backs up? Why did they got to do that awkward pose that takes them 10 minutes to get into? And Dalton's just sitting there looking at him going, "You good? You good? Okay, now I'll sit on you."
Yeah, I agree, but I think they're trying to give you that visual that you don't want to have.
Yeah, it's definitely. And when he sits down, it's right on the lap.
Absolutely. Yep.
Of my boys. I sound like Jim Cornette doing the Jim Barnett impression. Oh, my stars, my boys. I'm Jim Barnett. Look at my locker room full of stars.
Yes.
Anyway.
But
we got Jay Lethal, and, you know, I love where they're going with this. Hunter, if you're booking this, Delirious, you're doing a damn good job. Yes. Because in any normal federation, it would be either we're going to have him drop the U.S. or the TV title, or we're going to have him vacate it and give it to Dijak or whoever.
Right.
Okay? But no, you had him go, I made this title. This title didn't make me. I made these belts what they are today. And if I got to defend them by wrestling 2 matches on one show, I will. You're not taking a damn thing away from me because I earned every... All these people out here didn't think I could do it, even though it's bullshit because they wanted it. But he's a heel, so he has to roll. So all these people didn't think I could do it. You guys didn't think I could do it. You know, you're not taking a damn... It's awesome. It's so good.
So that said, as awesome as it is, the next show, I believe, Death Before Dishonor, he will fight and defend the TV title against Mark Briscoe, and he will also have the world title on the line against Roderick Strong.
Well, he's fighting Mark Briscoe at the next television episode, not Death Before Dishonor.
Oh, okay.
So he's fighting Roddy at Death Before Dishonor, which Roddy's not getting the belt. Sorry.
No, I agree.
I did not like Roddy's promo at all. And this is honestly, I'll be honest with people, and people are going to be like, well, what kind of wrestling podcaster are you? This is the first time I've ever heard Roderick Strong speak.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this big guy coming out, and it's like Owen Hart. Enough is enough.
Yes.
You know?
It was weird to hear him say man up, or what do you say, square up, man
Square
up.
up, man up. You know, I'm just like, come on, dude, you know?
So here's the question. If they go ahead and he successfully defends against Briscoe, then goes to the big show, they said pay-per-view. I don't know if that's going to be pay-per-view or pay-per-view.
I'm sorry. They shouldn't be doing that at this point.
I agree. Like you said, no longer at the kiddie table, right?
Yeah, you can't do that.
If he defends against Roddy successfully, then, you know, it's going to be build for lethal, and then in 2 weeks' time after Death Before Dishonor, are you and I going to have the same conversation because they're plugging in more matches? Because I don't know if you saw, but some of the roster from New Japan is coming back to do more shows.
If they're smart, I'd book fucking... I'm sorry. I'd bring Okada in, and I'd book for the world... here's what I would do, okay. The New World of Worlds, or whatever they're calling it, you're going to have... I'd put... And granted, this may not be healthy for Lethal, but I'd book his ass 2 matches on every show.
Mm-hmm.
One for the TV title, one for the world title. Maybe not 2 for every show, because you can't really... I mean, that style, you can't do that. I mean, I'm sorry, you just can't do that to the guy. But I'd bring in Okada, and I'd have his ass go up against Lethal for the world title. And then the very next show, I'd bring in, you know... well, not AJ, but who they got? Let me pull up the G1 here.
Okay.
Because it's got to be, you know, I'd bring in...
Maybe Nakamura
or Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
What was the guy? Who was that guy that was way freaking over? Is it Ishii? The young dude with... No, it's not Ishii.
Shibata?
It may be.
Shibata and Sakuraba put on a hell of a match. That was the...
No, it's not Shibata. It was this young kid. He was very fucking young looking. Every time they showed his face, the crowd went apeshit, like the women especially.
Tanahashi?
Ibushi, that's who it is. Every time they showed
Ibushi.
Yeah, every time they put Ibushi on the screen, the women just freaking at Dominion. They went, you know, apeshit for him.
Have you seen him in a match?
I may have before, but I don't remember.
If you can, I know a few weeks ago on Axis, they had a show from last year between he and Ricochet, who is Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. When those two opened the match, it was like a damn video game. Seriously, like they're just the way they move is just incredible. It's like Matrix in reality. I don't know if you can find that match, but if you can, check it out. It's a nice short match that you can get a real vibe for those two guys.
But how did you feel about the whole Lethal promo and everything?
I thought it was interesting because, you know, there's the crowd. He's so over, you know, and like you said, he's got the heel character.
It's the same venue the next night. That's another thing that hampers him. But
yes, I'm just curious because, you know, it's going to get hot again. And they're going to be pushing Lethal. And if he has the 2 successful title defenses, are we going to be waiting 2 or 3 weeks again to see the fallout on television from the...
There's no excuse for it, man. And you can't do that when you're on Destination America.
I agree.
And then again, people are going, I'm going to get into my voice here. Well, Joe, you know, there's a different kind of product.
I love it.
It's a different kind of fucking product, Joe, you know. They could do that. They could go here to bang to bang one week and then bing to bang the other week. No, you can't. Not when you're. Sorry, they're not at the kiddie table no more. You got to think about the modern wrestling fan and what the modern wrestling fan is used to getting from TV.
Yes.
Continuity. You got to give them some continuity.
Absolutely agree. We'll see what they do, but I think ROH is getting hot right now. But I'm going to move off of ROH. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit because Saturday at 5 a.m. or 5:30.
4:30 for me.
4:30 for you.
I woke up at 4:30 that morning. Well, I went to bed at like 3 a.m. after I think I messaged you for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally went to bed. And then I woke up 2 hours later and it was 4:30. And it's like, well, I got the alarm set for 5. I'm just going to get up.
You're more dedication than I because I didn't even try. But when I got to it, I messaged you. I saw the Jericho Neville match and then the 3 Divas match. And I said to you, I made a comment that I'm actually pissed because I've never seen Nikki Bella work this well ever. And here's where, I mean, it was a great show. They were in Japan, and I made the comment that it was booked like a New Japan show.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously somebody there, and we're going to touch upon this once we get to Raw in this conversation, but obviously somebody there backstage can book a wrestling show, quote unquote.
Vince probably didn't have anything to do with this.
I absolutely agree.
And a lot of people are going the way it was lit, the way it was shot, the way it was presented. Here's the thing, J Sports, and a lot of people have not mentioned this. There was no Kevin Dunn in Japan. There was no Vince McMahon there in Japan. Well, he may have been backstage, but I don't know. But there was no Kevin Dunn there. You really think Kevin Dunn is going to allow streamers on his fucking TV show when he's producing?
No.
Or directing? No. J Sports did all that, and kudos to them, and I hope we see more of it.
It'd be nice.
But Nikki Bella, oh man, they're gonna get.
And you know, not just Nikki too. I wanted to add this because I didn't mention it, but the way Tamina was booked, that's the strongest I've ever seen her booked in a match. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, why is this not on Raw? Why are they booked differently?
I don't know
differently.
I don't know if it's the deal of live TV for her, which this was live, but it's not seen by as many people, I don't think. But
right.
When she's on Raw, you can tell she gets nervous because of how much botches are in her matches. And we'll get to Raw later, and I got a big bone to pick with Cena when it comes to Raw. But anyway, when you're on that stage with that many people, like the other week when she was in there and she went to go do a move and she ran right into the ref and looked right at the ref and said, "Move out the way," you know?
Yep. Yeah, I've been watching her on Raw especially. It's like, what happened to Tamina?
Paige seemed watered down in that 3-way too.
She did. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if that's because everybody had to get their stuff in.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. And then of course Balor and Owens, which was phenomenal. I thought
Balor and Owens was great. The streamers, oh my god, they replayed that like 15 times. It was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching another show on YouTube this morning, and this guy has about 2,300 subscribers on YouTube, I think. And he goes right into saying that this match didn't start off that good. I'm like, dude, what fucking show did you watch? Excuse the language. What show did you watch? Because from entrance to goodbye or whatever, that match was phenomenal. And
yes.
I'm ticked off that it didn't main event, which they have their reasons for it not main eventing. But that match, you need to go watch it. I can't comment enough on it because there's no words. I had flashbacks to my childhood watching this match.
Yeah. Yep.
It told a story.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. And my kids like Finn Balor. My son loves Finn Balor. He'd rather watch Finn Balor some weeks than Raw.
I have a Finn Balor question for you, by the way.
What's that?
Because you are more familiar with NXT than I am.
Mm-hmm.
When he is not the Demon, when he's just Finn Balor, does he use the exact same moveset?
Yes.
Okay, here's a question.
It's intensified a little bit when he's
the Demon.
When he's the Demon.
Okay, here's the question. knowing and observing Vince McMahon over the years, I think he could see dollar figures in the Demon. However, I don't think he can see money with Finn Balor, just straight up Finn Balor.
Here's the thing:
how will they handle that if he gets
if he gets to the main roster? Here's how they should handle it. You handle it just as the character is in NXT. And Austin commented on Balor on his podcast, Steve Austin did, which we'll get to him later too.
Okay.
Because I do want to talk about the whole Roddy Piper Austin thing.
You know what? You can fill me all in because I totally missed it.
It's funny as hell. But anyway, the Balor thing, Austin was like, when you're Finn Balor, be Finn Balor. Don't be the guy in the paint. Have it be two separate. No. Okay, here's what you do. You can... Bloody Sunday should only be hit as the Demon. Coup de Grace can be hit as both, because that's his fucking finish. But anyway, there are subtle differences that you can find in that character. And maybe you go the route of, I'm a calm, cool, collective guy, but when I need to... And Austin is a prime example to sit there and go... Austin always tells his character of, you know, when I got on the TV, I was myself, but I turned the dial up.
Yeah.
Why can't the Demon be Finn Balor with the dial turned up? When he needs to turn the dial up, I'll go in there and do it. My thing with Finn Balor, though, is when he gets up to the main roster, if he ever gets there, the one thing that may squash him is the one thing that we haven't seen a whole lot out of him, and that's his promos.
Yes.
Haven't seen him cut a whole lot of promos. I don't know if he can cut a promo, you know, but the paint's all in one good thing, but if you can't talk people into the building...
Yep.
The Demon character should, like when Tommy and Balor, when Balor very first did the paint on the TakeOver special, and then Balor did the Finn has risen deal.
Yes.
I was against that.
Okay.
Because that damn Demon character, or the Demon side of that character, should never speak. He should never speak.
Okay.
Because when he's Balor, if it is a total person, people are going to be going, oh, this is the Demon, you know, shit like that. People are going to expect that. No, the Demon, no. That character, when he's in that paint, the paint speaks for him. The match speaks for him. Yes. The volume being turned up speaks for him. There's a reason why Goldberg snorted, breathed fire, breathed smoke, snorted, came in, hit you again, speared, jackhammer, went home. He didn't need to speak.
It's true. I would love nothing more than to see Finn Balor get called up and see a...
He doesn't need to be down there now.
No, he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. And I would love to see like a Bray Wyatt tormenting Finn Balor.
Dude.
Week after week, and then the Demon comes out. But I'm just afraid that Vince isn't going to see it that way. He's just going to say, well, I don't... he's Dolph Ziggler with zero mic skills and whatever.
Who's
Go ahead,
this?
Do your Vince.
Who's this Demon, pal? Why? I don't get it, pal. Why can't we put the paint on him every match? Because Vince, it takes 6 hours to do it. Well, arrive at the building early. You know?
And yeah, that's another thing. Will he get the great idea? Well, we'll put him in an outfit like a luchador.
We'll put a mask on him. What's crazy is that when he comes out as Finn Balor, and not the Finn Balor Demon, to compensate for not having the paint on, he has the bandana over his mouth with the design on it, okay?
Okay.
That they sell. And then he rips that off and does the entrance. You raise a good question, because it's like, how do you present that now on a main stage?
Yes. That's basically the
And
question.
maybe that is the only pinhole with Finn Balor. People think, oh, you know, you have these deals, but what is it going to look like? That raises a good question. Does Balor ever get a shot at the main title because of this gimmick? Is it too comic book and cartoony? I don't think so.
I don't think so. And obviously,
because I mean, one word, Undertaker.
Exactly. He could be that new Undertaker that they're looking for.
I could totally see him doing the whole battle. Oh my Lord. Can you imagine the promos with Bray? And the thing is that you got to have Balor come back and go, you know what? You talk about demons. I got a demon for you. You talk about hearing voices and demons. I got something for you, you know? But we're getting off track. The Balor-Owens match was just I looked at my kids like to watch Balor. They like the paint. The Japanese writing on the back of the paint apparently said Prince on one side and Demon on the other, which was awesome.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I think my kids loved it. My kids loved the match. I watched that match at least 3 times since it aired.
Okay.
So it's that damn good to me. The Owens deal, I looked at my girlfriend and go, Owens is a dick, but I love to freaking hate him.
Mm-hmm.
With the throwing the flowers after the geishas gave it to him.
That was great. Yes.
And my girlfriend goes, but Balor threw his too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I go and rewatch it. And of course, they give him the flowers, the geishas exit the ring, and Balor just chucks his down beside the ring.
I didn't catch that.
You know? And man, it's like, okay, well, what else is he going to do? Hold on, let me run these to the back. No.
Right.
At least give them to the ring person handling your attire and the ring jackets and everything.
Just hand them to someone.
But they had the geishas in there with the flowers and everything, and then Owens chucks his, and then Owens with the whole, I hate this stinking country. It stinks. I don't want to be here. They dragged, and even the announcers, Michael Cole and Byron going, he's wrestled here before for us, and he hated it. But now he's been dragged back to the land of the rising sun to defend the NXT title. It was great. The commentary, Michael Cole. They should have Michael Cole call it from Stanford with Saxton more often.
I couldn't believe Saxton was good.
Could it be that there was no Vince in his ear for this?
I think that show was so good. We may be looking at that at the end of the year as the WWE show of the year.
It won't win any Slammies, that's for damn sure.
No, of course not. Last NXT thing before we move on. When Joe came in, Samoa Joe, and everybody went nuts. He came in against Owens in that segment. They gave the stare down, Owens back down, whatever. Did they ever hook up one-on-one? Because I expected...
What, Joe and Owens? Yeah, they did.
Okay, what was the finish of that?
I think the finish of it was that it was a schmoz ending. I think it was total schmoz ending. I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I know that they hooked up and it didn't end with a clean winner.
So the Joe Owens match for the title is just dead.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
And the thing about it is that it doesn't need to happen. It never. I think here's the deal. They had him go up there for that 1 or 2 shots with Cena, and then Rusev got injured, and they needed the big brooding man to take care of Rusev, or to be the Rusev stand-in. And then he got so over that they're like, oh shit, we can't send him back down. We can't just brush him under the rug. We can't send him back down.
Oh, really?
They were supposed to send him. It was a one-off. I think it was. I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
It's interesting. I never gave it thought.
But I do know that once Rusev got injured around that time when he first popped up on the main roster, they were like, oh shit, Rusev's injured. So let's stick Owens up there because we need somebody to fill that spot. And I know you had a problem on your last podcast with the whole Rusev Lana Ziggler angle, but my God, Monday.
Oh yeah, Rusev added so much that, you know, my main problem with it is just no one looks comfortable but Rusev in the spots. That's my problem with it.
They looked a little bit more comfortable this week.
They did, but
well, do you know why that whole thing is going on, don't you? We'll get to that when we cover Raw.
Okay, good. Okay.
But continue. I want you to lead this tonight.
Okay.
But what did you think of the whole Balor Owens thing? I want you to give your opinions too. It's not just about me and what I think.
Balor Owens, I thought the match was great, and like I said to you, I felt like I was watching a New Japan show. And I know you get some of that on NXT normally, but I agree with everything you said about Balor. That probably should have been the main event, though I can see why, you know, they wanted Cena to close the show. And there was a lot of Cena merch in that crowd, too.
Yeah, there was.
I was surprised by that.
The crowd for this show surprised me. Because if you watch, we're going to get to New Japan here, I'm sure, in a minute, a little bit later. But if you watch a New Japan crowd, they are nothing. It's the same country, but and they're not down the road even. You know, look at the damn Tokyo Dome show for January, and then look at Sumo Hall from last Saturday.
I felt last Saturday it was almost like the New Japan crowd let their hair down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, and it was like they wanted to be American for one night.
Yes.
And it makes me wonder that on the rest of the house shows that they did in this loop with going to Osaka and Singapore and everywhere else that they went, was it the same reaction?
It could have been.
Because this crowd was doing the whole let's dress up. One guy dressed up as
Yep.
Simon Gotch. Another guy had a Nintendo Me version of John Cena in the crowd, which was awesome. Which
Did you see the guy in the front row?
I bookmarked something for this because I knew we were going to bring it up.
Okay. The guy in the front row with the fake Owens beard.
I'm going to direct you to this. I'm going to send this to you. It says 13 things you may have missed
Okay.
about Beast in the East. I'm going to see if this will actually come up for me.
Okay. Staring at Veda Scott.
Oh, you brung that up here. I can't believe you. We're not going to say what it is, but anybody who is, go follow Veda on Twitter. I love you, Veda, if you're listening to this. I fucking love you. I know I got a girlfriend, but you are more than welcome to come to my house anytime you want.
And manage you.
And manage me.
Strictly management role.
Yes.
Okay, there's number 13. That's the guy I was talking about. He had the Kevin Owens. He had the wrists, the shirt, and the fake beard.
Yeah, the Kevin Owens cosplayer is 13. This is 13 things you might have missed. This is courtesy of whatculture.com. 13 things you might have missed about Beast in the East. One is the Kevin Owens cosplayer.
Number 12 is Cole and Staxton. Made a damn fine team.
Yeah.
And they did.
Let's see what number 12 or 11 is. Jericho flip-flopping between heel and babyface the entire match.
Yes, that was cool.
It was so classic. It's like, okay, how's the crowd reacting? Because should I go in here? He went in there as Lionheart Chris Jericho. They even made a mention of it on commentary.
Yeah.
And with the classic lion tamer where he puts the knee into the back and arcs it instead of it being a Boston Crab.
I can't believe the performance he put on, by the way. He looked like he was 30 again.
Jericho has never missed a step.
Man.
Never.
I don't know how he does it.
And my stepdaughter loves Fozzy, by the way. I was like, she's watching the Chris Jericho documentary with me one day on the network because she just happened to be in the room, and she's like, oh, he's cute. And she's all into rock bands and stuff. She likes people like Black Veil Brides and Of Mice and Men and all that, you know?
Okay, yep.
This new age rock that is kind of like teeny bopper rock, but anyway.
Yes.
It's nothing like Metallica, which even Metallica's leaning that way, but anyway.
Yep.
I was like, he has a band, you know. And I put in Let the Madness Begin on for her, and she loved it.
Nice.
So now Fozzy comes on her Pandora and stuff like that. She's got like MP3s of Fozzy, and every time Jericho's on, she's got to watch. But number 10, why don't you take number 10 there?
10, Divas Talk Too Much. And I did notice this.
I didn't.
The one specific they have here is Nikki loudly shouting, ready, and Paige replying, yeah.
Oh, we'll get to talking too much and when we get to Raw.
Okay.
This was quiet mouse compared to Raw.
Yes. And they're talking about how the Japanese crowd kind of quieted down, and then you can hear the whole match being called in the ring here. With
number 9 is that first German to Kofi.
Ooh, yeah.
1 inch closer and crack goes the neck. You got instant Sabu.
Brutal. Why
don't you take number 8?
Okay, Finn Balor's back. What is this one here? Okay, there's the Prince and the Demon.
Yeah, that's where I got that from.
Okay.
The back, I was like, I was telling my girlfriend because she always enjoys his paint and the gimmick, you know, the paint gimmick, and I was like, wait till you see his freaking back. They literally put a devil on his back.
Yes.
Kevin Owens' masterful heel work, and they got a picture of him throwing the flowers here. He shouted to the crowd, you want to see him, and then threw Balor out of the ring. And then the spot where Balor is sitting down all groggy, and Owens hits the ropes like he's going to come in for a kick or a clothesline, and he just takes to the knee and grabs the sleeper. I was like, you fucking dick. We wanted to see you kick the ever-loving crap out of him. Nope. Right into the rest hold.
Number 6, Finn hits his old finisher. Announcers don't know what to say. And
no,
this
they
is
didn't
what you
know
mentioned about Bloody Sunday.
Yeah, they didn't know what Bloody Sunday was, and which the crowd knew what Bloody Sunday is. He was, oh my God, that crowd, honestly, that crowd was not as over for him. I was expecting them to be crying, the girls to be crying, and I was expecting everybody to know the entrance where they put their hands up. But then I got to remember, is the network over in Japan? Do they know what the NXT is every week? Do they want? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, they were chanting NXT, but I didn't know if that came from just their Raw viewing or if they actually watch NXT.
Take number 5, because I don't know if you noticed this.
I didn't. Japanese stagehand disappears under the ring.
Yeah, there's this Japanese guy during Barrett's entrance, and he gets caught on camera, and he realizes it, and he's just like, oh crap, it darts right under the ring.
I did not notice that.
Number 4, Ziggler rocking 3 vests. He's got his leather vest,
yep,
his denim vest, and then he's got like the cloth Ziggler vest that he wears every week.
I don't know why, but it was damn funny.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, you fucking maniac. You're rocking 3 vests. Funny story. I was at an ROH show. Manassas and Delirious is there wrestling against somebody. And Delirious is sitting there doing the whole Delirious talk. You know, all of a sudden he takes off his big vest like coat thing, and he throws it and hits his opponent with it. And I'm there, and I even think Phil Stamper was there because he was sitting 2 rows ahead of me. Okay. And in my crowd, I go, hit him with it's silent as hell. And I go, hit him with another vest shot. That'll get over. Yeah. And everybody just freaking busts out laughing. I mean, and Phil goes, thanks, Joe. And I'm like, you're welcome.
Nice. You could take number 3 because this is video game oriented here.
3, challenge match time and me, Cena. It says, say what you want about having storylines in the tag match. Cena was depicted in 2 iconic Japanese styles, a big-eyed yellowing anime head, which over the words were challenge match time, and then also they figured the Nintendo Wii Cena, which was awesome because that's exactly what Cena would look like if he was a Mii character. If he was in Super Smash Brothers, there would be John Cena, and which is crazy because Nintendo, of course, is based in Japan. But
absolutely.
Go ahead and take 2.
Number 2, Curry Man makes a cameo.
You ever seen Curry Man?
Yeah, yes, I do. I'm very familiar with Curry Man.
He's spicy.
He's hot.
He's Curry Man.
There was someone in the crowd dressed as Curry Man.
And actually got acknowledged quite a few times.
Yes. And I'm not sure if it was Daniels, but I guess we'll see about that.
I don't get number 1. You take number 1 here.
Sign of the night. I'm deaf.
Don't get it.
Is the person stating that the noise in the arena is deafening, or are they rather just publicizing the fact that they cannot hear? It's a good question. I can't answer it.
So there are 13 things you might have missed. I saved that. I found that earlier in the week. I was like, we got to talk about that.
Yep.
But I think.
Go ahead.
I think that show, honestly, is that show right there will go down as one of the best in history. And it's probably because Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn had nothing to do with it.
Agreed. And moving on from there, wanted to get into some Dominion talk.
Oh, man. I'm sorry if I'm going to admit it. If you were a Comcast caller and you called me on Sunday, I apologize for the 10-minute wait times. I really do apologize for me having to factory reset your modems just so I could put you on hold for 5 minutes. Because I was watching Makabe versus Ishii and Shibata versus Sakuraba. And
how stiff was that match?
Oh my God, dude.
Oh.
The Never title is always like that. It was like that at the Wrestle Kingdom show. So.
Oh, yeah. And those guys have been chasing each other. You know, I'm a New Japan World subscriber.
I can't figure out how to subscribe to the thing.
I'll have to walk you through that. But those guys have been, you know, they'll air the shows just like on WWE Network. Once the show airs, it gets immediately put into the on-demand section, if you will. Mm-hmm. But they air basically what you would call their house shows. So, and on a lot of the house shows, I don't watch them all. But sometimes they'll do like, you know, 3 of the matches you saw last night, they'll put the 3 faces against the 3 heels as a match. But every match, those guys always end up slobber knocking each other. And you know, they do a lot of pull aparts, even on the house shows. So that thing's been going on for all year.
And the one match that I would liked on this show, which, see, I don't get this, because you had the Young Bucks versus Red Dragon versus RPG Vice, I think Roppongi Vice or whatever it is.
Yep.
It said RPG Vice on the back of one of Romero's or Beretta's vest, but all Americans. Is Rocky Romero American? I think he is. I know Trent Beretta is. All Americans. Crowd eats it up. You then go into the Bullet Club versus Kingdom match. Lead balloon time.
Yes.
And both were American-style matches, I think.
Yes, I'd agree.
The first, of course, with the Young Bucks being more spot fests.
Of course.
But
there was a lot of humor in those matches, too. They do a lot of goofy spots.
Oh, man. I love Red Shoes.
Oh, we'll get to him. We'll get to him.
I don't get Red Shoes, pal. He ain't reffing for me.
He puts Earl Hebner to shame.
Another thing I like, I want to get back to Ring of Honor since we're talking about this.
Okay.
Red Shoes reffing some of the matches. And even with I was watching one of the Ring of Honor matches where I believe it wasn't Red. It may have been Red Shoes that was calling it. I want to say it was the opening tag match from last week's Ring of Honor show. And one other thing about Japanese reps that people don't understand is that they take their job very, very seriously in that ring. And they treat it just like it's a sport. To the point where at one point, Ring of Honor the other week, I think it was AJ Styles and the Young Bucks versus somebody. I don't remember the damn match. Oh, well. But at one point, one guy's got Wrestler A's got Wrestler B in the corner. And in any normal tag match, the ref is going 1, 2, get him out of the corner, 3, 4. And the other two guys have ran in by this point in the WWE style match.
Right.
And are, cluster effing it up, okay? But not in this match and not with this referee, because this referee has the freaking sense to go 1, 2, okay, I'm going to back out from these guys, and he does what a baseball umpire would do when a batter gets hit by a pitch. He checks the two corners.
Yes.
You, over there. You, stay over there. Okay, 3, 4. And it was beautiful. I even went back and rewound it and pointed it out to my girlfriend while I was lying in bed. And I was like, before you turn that light off and before you take the glasses off, because she wears eyeglasses too, watch this. And I go, watch what this ref does. And I showed it and she goes, okay. I was like, you didn't see that? And she goes, no. And I'm just like, you didn't see him check the corners?
he will do things like that all the time. Like if they have a match with someone in a submission and he's reaching for the rope and he's getting closer, he'll actually, like, he gets in the camera shot and he'll show the guy with his hands like, you're still 3 inches away. You got to reach. You got to reach. I can't do anything. You got to reach. And he constantly does things like that. It's amazing. Like, during those matches, sometimes he steals my eye, and I have to rewind it to see what I missed.
And it amazes me how a referee could just be so instrumental in a match. It's like the old days when nowadays it's seen as a gimmick when the referee checks the shoulders.
Yes.
That's one thing I could never understand about Jeff Jarrett and how that even got over. Is Jarrett's lying on his back, 1, 2, and all Jarrett does is stick an arm in the air, and they count that as a kick out.
Yes.
Have you noticed that about his matches?
Yep.
And I'm sitting there screaming, going, his shoulders are still on the mat. Count to 3. How is raising your arm in the air a kick out? They call it a kick out for a reason.
There was a weird cover. I can't remember what match it was, but I did notice it on Dominion, where I don't think it was supposed to be a 1 count, but the ref counted the 1 and got up because the guy's shoulder wasn't down.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things on this show referee wise that really kind of made me go, do you guys not know that this is a finish, not a finish? Do you guys not? I mean, do they let you know what the finish is before the match? And there's been talk in recent years of WWE guys not knowing the finish because they want it to seem real. But there were times where the referee would be sitting there going 1, 2, and the guy hasn't kicked out yet, and you could tell the ref is about ready to slap 3, and the the ref is having to look at the guys like, kick out already, or else I'm going to count to 3, you know?
Yep.
And he stalls right in the middle of the 2 count. Like, what happened there, you know?
Yep.
But what else did you want to talk about here for this show?
What did you feel was... Give me the top 3 matches, in your opinion.
Top 3, Okada versus Styles obviously was good.
The end of that match.
Yeah.
The series of
and
chaining.
that goes into
God.
that goes into the red shoes conversation, telling the AJ, stuck it right there. You stuck it right there. And of course the young fucks with their damn over the top reaction didn't need to be there, but anyway.
Yep. He chased the Bullet Club up the ramp, turned around, gave the crotch chop to AJ in the ring, turned around, gave it to the Bullet Club, and said, "Get out." Fantastic.
Very American in that respect.
Yes.
I like that. I like that a lot. Even though I don't like the whole crotch chopping, too sweet me, too sweet, even though it's part of the Bullet Club's music now, just like with the NWO. Happy NWO Day, by the way.
Oh, yes. Same to you.
25 years ago, I think they said.
Unbelievable.
96, 2006.
Unbelievable.
19 years. 19 years.
It's unbelievable.
My number 2, Shibata versus Sakuraba.
I agree.
Was good. And then that Never title match was good too. Omega versus Kushida. Everybody thinks that is like a really good match. I didn't really like it all that much because it just, even though they went 20 minutes, it felt rushed to me.
I agree. I did like it, but
give your thoughts on it real quick. I'm gonna go grab me another Pepsi just across the room. So keep going, okay?
Sure. Sakuraba and Shibata. Or no. Kenny Omega, Super Juniors champion, versus Kushida, who is the Best of the Super Juniors winner. I thought the picking of the leg and the knee was great. And
oh yeah,
if you can't, I don't know. I know what you mean by feeling rushed, but they did spend a lot of time with Omega just pulling apart his knee, and it did take that downswing during the match.
And then I think it wasn't Yano and Tanahashi. It may have been Yano and it was no. What match was it? What match was it where they were picking apart the guy's shoulder, and then afterwards I was like, sell the shoulder, put the ice packs on the shoulder. What match was that? Oh man, I got to go back into my Twitter messages.
Or was it Kushida and you said, what about the knee?
It may have been. Hold on.
I can't remember what we were talking about there.
Hold on.
It was a great show overall, though.
It was, though. I mean, a lot of people are calling this better than Wrestle Kingdom. I don't think I would go that far.
I don't think it was, but it was, I mean, it was close, but in my opinion.
Give me one moment here. Give me just 1 second.
Take your time. We're not live.
Jeff goes, don't listen to my show this week. You're not going to like it.
we can get into that a little bit if you want.
Go ahead.
I did a show mainly pulling out the WWE fanboys for giving Dixie way too hard of a time. And basically I ended up going on for 45 minutes praising Bob Ryder and Dixie Carter for keeping that company afloat and defending it respectively in regards to Bob Ryder out there on Twitter.
Oh man, I can't remember.
I don't remember why we brought that up.
It doesn't say what match it was. I don't remember saying what match it was, but there was a match where they were sitting there railing on the guy's shoulder, and then at the end of the match they put the ice packs, the young boys come in with the ice packs and put the ice packs right on the guy's head and then on his back, and I'm just like, dude, he just been selling the shoulder for the last 15 minutes. Put an ice pack on the shoulder, you know?
Was it Nakamura and Goto?
I think it might have been Nakamura and Goto.
I think it may have been. The Intercontinental
That damn opening match with Naito and Hanma. versus the Bullet Club. Oh,
Yes.
Naito.
Mm-hmm.
Naito with his whole "I don't want to be here, fuck you, Hanma" attitude was
Yes.
great.
I loved it.
That didn't need commentary. It told the story right there.
Yep. I loved it.
Naito's facial expressions and his reactions was just so good.
Yep. He was dropping off the ring and just turning around, just looking like.
From the ring entrance, from his ring entrance,
Yes.
you could tell he had that walk like, here I am. I got a team with this guy. I really don't want to be here, but I got to make the money somehow.
Yep. That's going to be interesting to see where they go with him.
Yeah. I probably won't follow it as closely as you will because I just can't. I can't afford another $9.99 right now.
I know. I understand. It's a lot.
Because you got I got to pay $12.99 a month for the Netflix because the kids just got to have Netflix, and then $9.99 a month for my WWE network, so I can solely watch NXT and the pay-per-views, which it's cheaper than the way they used to do it. So I'm not complaining.
Right.
And then I went out and bought a 1-month Loot Crate subscription this month because I wanted to try that. So.
Okay.
Which a lot of people have warned me that, oh, you're going to get nothing but crap in the Loot Crate, but there's an unboxing video coming.
Oh, nice. Good tease.
Okada gaining the belt and them taking it off AJ. Me and you discussed this. Does AJ take a break from New Japan?
I don't think so, just because of the G1 coming up. He's still going to be busy.
What would you say if he joined? Here's my deal about this, and this may lead us into TNA. I don't know if you want to get into TNA or not, but what if AJ Styles, he's not in every match in that tournament, okay?
Correct.
And they can make it to where he has 2 or 3 days off, which is a lot of travel for a man, I know, but oh well, AJ's used to it at this point. It comes with the territory of being a pro wrestler, especially at AJ's level and status, which he chose.
Yes.
Anyway, what if in the last few days we've seen people like Magnus and Mickey James. Eric Young is even now going to GFW shows. What if all of a sudden they bring in AJ Styles?
GFW or TNA?
GFW. Which leads to and it's a big if, I don't think they're going to do it, but if they do the whole invasion thing, what do you think about the Bullet Club being on the side of GFW? Because Jeff is an honorary quote-unquote member of the Bullet Club.
We know he's had Young Bucks and Gallows and Anderson on his stadium tour cards.
I would love to see them bring in Bad Luck Fale. You know who Fale reminds me of?
Who?
I don't know if you're familiar with 007. He looks like Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
He looks just like Jaws with the way he wrestles in the dress slacks and the bald head. You put that top hat on him, it's Jaws, man.
Man, if they do, Austin Aries also going to ROH.
Yeah.
That's other news. And again, they're talking about GFW and TNA invading, but man, that Destination America key, if those 3 companies can get on the same page, that might do something.
It won't happen, I don't think,
because
of the whole New Japan and All Japan. And I was reading something about how All Japan had Ring of Honor for some shows, or something having to do with All Japan and New Japan not going places with TNA and all this map, and then you throw in Wrestle One in the mix, and it's a cluster, man, between, and that just shows you how much of a cluster TNA has gotten over the years. And I can see your point with the hate on Dixie online. Nobody should be going online giving death threats. I call her Jim Herd Jr. because it's the truth.
It's a lot different, though, than what what I read about her.
But the thing is that it's so... When you inject yourself in the storylines, you can expect it. Okay? You open yourself up for it when you become a performer. And I call her Jim Herd Jr. because it is what it is. Jim Herd was a guy from Pizza Hut who didn't know screw all about the wrestling business and came in one day and just got the job. Dixie Carter is a girl who used to promote concerts and entertainment events and who knows screw all about the wrestling business. And just because she used to live in the same apartment complex with Jeff Jarrett back in the day when they were both young, single people or whatever, now they got to sit there and she bought into something she didn't know about. She didn't do her research or due diligence.
This is true. Everything you're saying is true. However, my show, I geared it to the WWE fanboys, which
Which I am one. I like WWE.
Yeah, but you're not going to go out and, verbally abuse Dixie Carter just to get your jollies, because you, like I said on my show, you can click on those people that are doing that and you could see, wow, Dean and Roman Reigns and da-da-da-da. But here's the thing that I can't get in my head, and this is going to lead us into Raw, okay? I mentioned to you last night that this show, and I didn't notice it until I started podcasting, because what I do is I'll watch it, I'll put it on the DVR and write down all the segments, just to do my research, just to pick apart whatever I want to pick apart. Mm-hmm. It is essentially the same show every week. And by that, I mean, it is essentially the same show every week. When you have ratings coming out and the breakdowns are, they're doing a 3.4 million people. Okay. And the hourly breakdown is 3.5.
Last week it was almost a 2.5. So
yeah, well, okay, I should say viewers, the viewership, because that's a little different. But if you have hour one, 3.5 million, and it drops down to 3.3 million viewers, it's the same every Big Show has been in the opening match in the same in the past 3 weeks. Then they go into the Divas. Then they go into Wade Barrett, and it happened again, and it happened two weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. It's essentially the same show being rebooked. Now, they did switch it up a little bit. Instead of the Authority opening, they had Brock open, okay, this week. But what you're seeing is essentially the same shit week to week. And
you're seeing the same things on TNA, though, until they realize, oh, we're the same crap. We booked ourselves into a corner where there's no logical reason or way out of it without hitting the reset button.
But the thing with TNA is, it's not. I should say it's not laid out. The show isn't laid out the same every week.
Yeah, it is.
Explain.
The segments may not be in the same order, but it's still the same stuff, Jeff. Beatdown Club's gonna come out. MVP's gonna cut his Brooklyn whatever. I'm a thug
okay,
promo.
That's great. You just made my point. That's fine. Why does TNA get the hate and WWE does not? Because they're doing the exact same thing.
Maybe because WWE's the standard. It may be because WWE. But
it doesn't make it good.
I'm not saying it makes it good, but it doesn't make it TNA any better.
I'm not saying TNA is any better. I'm just questioning why, as a Raw fan, do you need to do that when you view TNA?
No. I agree.
Oh, there's Magnus again.
What's good for the
Wade
goose?
Barrett again. I don't understand the disconnect there.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. No doubt about it.
That's the point. Yeah, that's
no doubt about it. I see your point there. But for somebody to sit there and go, WWE sucks and TNA is so much better because they got a 6-sided ring. No.
Oh, no. No, those people are doing the exact same thing. But
and for anybody to go, now you see, Joe, Seth Rollins is just really that damn good. No. Well, you see, Joe, they got the 6-sided ring. They got rid of Hogan, so they're going to be okay. No. What I have a problem with TNA is, like, how often does WWE hit the reset button, which maybe they're in need of that right now. It used to be the draft that they did every year was their reset button.
Right, exactly.
And it worked. They told you, hey, we're hitting the reset button. It's time to shake things up a bit. McMahon would come out there and cut that beautiful promo every year.
Mm-hmm.
But TNA, they've done it so much because they realize, oh, this ain't working, we'll go here. Oh, this ain't working, so we'll go here. You get dizzy trying to follow that show some weeks, man.
Let me ask you a question. Is there, even if they hit a reset button, it's not going to work?
No.
What can they do? Is there anything?
I liked you stealing my Netflix idea this week, by the way.
What was it? Oh, getting on Netflix. Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, I'll admit it. I stole it from you because I think we discussed that on one of the shows.
We did.
It's a great idea. It's true. Maybe Global should even do it too. Talk to Netflix. Get your stuff on there.
I think Lucha Underground is a good place as a Netflix place. Our Netflix show, because it's presented so episodic, and when you watch the opening of that show every week, okay? While the opening credits are rolling. Since when did the wrestling show have opening credits?
Yeah.
Lucha Underground does. They flat out tell you, hey, the dude who did Survivor, he's the executive freaking producer.
Yep.
WCW used to do credits on their pay-per-views back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
but never.
Yep.
I mean, and the way it's shot, like you're going to get an opening of the billboard, and we're going to zoom out over the LA sunset, and then we're going to go around to the other building, and then we're going to zoom. The way it's shot, you go watch that to an opening of Survivor, where you know how in the beginning, I don't watch Survivor, I haven't watched since the first season, but if you watch a typical episode of Survivor, after you get the opening song and the dance credits, while they're showing the opening produced by Mark Burnett, but they're showing screenshots of the environment and the island and a bird floating, picking a fish up out of the sea and all this. Lucha Underground's the exact same way.
They do the same thing. Yep.
And it's so beautifully done. It's presented like an actual what wrestling is like nowadays. A TV show.
A TV show.
And getting back to Raw, a lot of people go with the axe handle bit. I saw someone on Twitter go, Jimmy Valiant calls, he wants his axe handle back. The 1970s or 80s are done, guys. The 90s are even done. We talk about Happy NWO Day, but come on.
Well, let me ask you, speaking of that, I talked about repeat bookings of Raw. When you see angles where, to me, it's just lazy, okay? And you can say that you hated James Storm pushing Mickey off the train tracks and that whole thing. That's fine. You can hate it all you want, okay? But here's my question to you about Raw. In recent weeks, you had Dean on color commentary with Roman. You have the Divas on color commentary. You had Sheamus, Ryback, The Miz, the primetime players last night. What happened to... And I don't want to say that I want the Attitude Era back, but I want that idea back.
Not anything can happen on any given night.
Well, it's not only that; it's the way the show used to be booked. And I'm not going so far as to do it like Russo would say. Well, you have 2-minute matches and then 15 minute
did you hear the big announcement from him?
The Shark Boy. Yes, we'll get into that.
Go ahead.
But here's the question: instead of doing the lazy color commentary and like, why do they have to? Would it appease you as a fan for storyline advancement if they simply did something backstage where, I don't know, something stupid, Big Show, or no, The Miz flattens Ryback's tires? That's their segment. They don't need to put them in the ring with somebody sitting outside, because it seems like that's the repeat booking for that angle. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, primetime players, why are they on color commentary, and why do the Lucha Dragons have to drop? I would rather see a 5-minute match in the beginning between Lucha Dragons and Ascension, and have them running around in back causing havoc to each other, and instead of putting them in that situation.
Why are Lucha Dragons jobbing to anybody right now?
I don't understand. I don't know.
Because it's the NXT way of, you're up here, pal. I'm going to show you who's boss.
Yeah, and the thing that doesn't make sense about that is he should be happy with the success of those guys.
Yeah, nobody. Well, I'm going to go one of the writers. Well, you see, Vince, nobody knows who NXT is. That's why they're chanting it every time they see Owens on TV. Why is it now, and I don't know if it changed this week with him losing the belt, why is it that the backwards or the side Titantron and the secondary Titantron for Kevin Owens is the NXT logo?
Yes.
Why is it that in Japan, granted, maybe that show doesn't matter, but granted, in Japan during the NXT title match, they changed the ring aprons to NXT ring aprons.
I saw that, yes. There were NXT chants from the crowd. We said that.
There's a reason why NXT's running the Barclays Center the night before SummerSlam, which is to compete with Ring of Honor. But anyway.
Yes.
And if anybody's sitting there going, well, Joe, one has nothing to do with the other day, they didn't even know Ring of Honor was running. No shit. They knew.
They knew.
They knew. And it's to take away from their Terminal 5 show. Come on.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into it. We touched upon Raw a little bit, okay? Cesaro and Cena, and I'm going to tie everything back now.
Jeff, the European uppercut's coming.
You want me to sell it, or?
No.
Okay.
You can no-sell me. It's okay.
All right, I just did, I think.
Oh, this is so much fun.
This is great. I love it. Okay, so Cesaro and Cena. Let's go back a little bit. We talked ROH. We talked Beast in the East, which was basically wrestling show booked. We talked Dominion, which is always wrestling show booked. Is WWE suffering an identity crisis. Why are we seeing Cesaro and Cena booked this way? Because and let me say this before you get started. To me, as a New Japan fan, and I know I'm in a minority because we're in America, okay? We're not but you see that, and if you want to call ROH, the American version of that style, to me, it's almost, and I'm not going to take anything away from Cesaro and Cena, but it doesn't make sense to me to see a guy like Cesaro be put in that match to begin with because, he's been dead. Those matches to me with the false finishes, and they're made for big shows like Dominion. They're made for Briscoe and Lethal. They're not made for it's almost like it's insulting in a way, and it's going to make that they're going to make me go away from Raw more because you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like,
I don't think they're going to make you go away from Raw more. I think Vince is trying to kill the style off.
But he's putting it on his show in the main event.
He's going to put it on his show until you get sick of seeing it.
Is he trying to prove a point to Hunter? Because that was my next question.
That's another thing I was going to say, is maybe Vince has one foot in the sand and the other foot in the ocean with this. And that one, maybe, Vince maybe saw, or maybe it's the writers, okay? Because back in the day, when Vince Russo would write for Vince, a lot of people sit there and go, oh, well, Vince, Vince was the filter. And yes, okay, if Russo wanted to have Yamaguchi-san piss in Val Venus's mouth live on the air, Vince would put a stop to it. But the choppy pee-pee bit, it's fucking right up Vince's alley.
Absolutely. That's his style of humor.
So if these guys, and people, and we say Vince has lost his way, which I call him, Dave Scher calls him a crazy grandpa. And I fully agree. He's crazy grandpa. He's lost his touch. He's lost his way. I don't know what's going through that man's head, but maybe he saw Cena, maybe Cena, we talked about this, and that Cena may be taking matters into his own hands when they get it into the ring. Because you always say, get the match in the ring. Because you can't do shit about it once it's in the ring, okay? That's always been WWE's deal. Get the match in the ring.
Right.
Maybe Cena's taken that to another level by saying, let's get the match in the ring. Because once we're in the ring, and if we're doing our thing, they can yell at us in the back all they want to, but it's live and what's done is done.
That's a great point by you. Because Cena is the
he's got the clout,
matches, right?
He's got the clout.
Yep. Interesting thought by you.
What do you think?
What I think is they're trying, and I don't know if it's Triple H maybe trying to sell Vince on this idea, but I think I almost want to say they're trying to. I said identity crisis. I think they're trying to please too many people, too many different sects of the audience. I think that was for me and you, that match. The rest of the show, it wasn't for us. Brock and that match was for us. The casual fan had his, Wade Barrett match or Sheamus and Roman. And to me, that's going to create a problem. Because then you're screwing up your identity of what you are. I don't see Vince committing to that style of wrestling, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think that it's a weird dichotomy. Could Vince finally be turning the tide and going, okay, I need to move along with the times, pal? No. I don't see it going that way because Vince has surrounded himself with yes men and with people who cater to him because they know it's job security all his life. Okay? Vince has lived in a bubble. Vince Russo even coined it the wrestling bubble.
Yes.
Vince McMahon has always lived in that bubble where people book and write for Vince, okay? They don't write to pop the crowd. They write to pop Vince because he's the head honcho at the end of the day. And if he likes it, it's going to be put on TV. Right. And they get to see whatever they wrote come to life. And they get off on it. Okay, whatever. But I honestly, Jeff, can't answer this one, man, because I don't know. Maybe they're trying to shovel it down our throats so much that we don't like it and we want the sports entertainment and the gaga back. I doubt that because when you're the only show on TV that's like that, and TNA is like that too. So, but TNA is
It's hard to compare because they're on
it's
such a
apples
smaller
and
scale.
oranges. But what I was gonna say is when any other show with wrestling in the title is the exact 180 of what yours is, like your Lucha Underground, your your Lucha, your ROH, your damn New Japan now making an influence because the world and the social media thing is we're all one connected world now. It's not like it used to be. 10 years ago, we wouldn't even be even in 2005, we wouldn't be having this conversation about New Japan.
Correct.
So when 3 out of the 5 wrestling companies are putting on this style of a match in the US on US TV, because New Japan's on Access, I don't know how many people get that channel, but when 3 out of the 5 wrestling programs that are on TV every week, hell, I'll even go 4 because NXT is that style, are the exact 180 of what Raw is, and you're looking around going, they're having to hit the reset button again over here in TNA because people are sick of their shit. Yet we're feeding them the exact same shit, so maybe we need to take a look at what the other 3 are doing and go that route. It's hard to say. I doubt it. I doubt it because I doubt Vince has ever seen a Ring of Honor match in his whole life. Vince probably hears Lucha Underground and think it's some stupid rave party or something. He probably, he probably hears about New Japan and has somewhat of an inkling about New Japan, thinks, because Hogan's been there before. Hogan,
like he said months ago on Austin's podcast on the network, he said, wrestling is something my dad did. I don't do that. And Austin said, well, I'm a wrestler. And he said, no, you're not. I saw you play guitar, for crying out loud. And Austin tried to defend himself. I don't know if you remember that bit, but I remember distinctly him saying that's something my dad did, wrestling.
Austin defended it by saying, yeah, I played guitar, but when I got in that ring.
Yeah, there you go.
We wrestled. That's exactly what he said.
So has Vince seen the light of day? Is Triple H trying
has
to
Hunter
sell
finally
him? Is he trying to make a point that it's not going to pop the ratings? So Triple H shuts up and goes back to NXT. And
has Hunter finally gone to the point where and
they did hire Jimmy Jacobs from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that is that has Hunter finally gone, look, last week's rating was abysmal, okay? And Vince's counter to that is, yeah, and we had your goofy match between, your pure wrestling. We had wrestling on the card, and it did lowest rating since the Attitude Era. Ha ha ha. See, I'm right. Ha ha ha.
Yes, that's my fear. But we had your goofy champion up here, and what did he do? The ratings have declined.
But here's the deal, though. That wasn't in the main event last week. What was in the main event the week that the rating was dead?
Kane and Seth.
And that's what they built up to the whole night, right?
Yeah. Yep. It was Kane.
Came out. The first segment of the damn show was, we're going to give you Apple Watches and vacations to Hawaii, and then we're going to give you the new car, okay? And then we're going to have a match later in the night where I'm going to team with you and go up against whoever they went, Roman and Dean. I think it was.
Yeah,
okay?
Roman and Dean. Yep.
Which I don't like Reigns, okay? I haven't never liked Reigns. I haven't seen the appeal of Reigns. Whatever. They did the right thing with him, okay? Dean Ambrose, in my opinion, should be Intercontinental Champion right now, okay? But
I agree.
But then again, would that title really do him any good? But anyway, beside the point.
Yes.
When your main event is now as Hunter, I'm going, yeah, we had that match, but it's probably the highest rated thing on that show, wasn't it? Vince can go, yeah, probably one of the highest. What's your point? Maybe that's your main event, Vince. Doing my Hunter impression now.
Pretty good.
I could do, Vince, we need to have him in the main event. Anyway. Booking NXT. God, that makes my throat hurt. Yeah.
Going from there, and this is the last thing I wanted to get into.
But the thing is, maybe
they finish.
Sorry, I had to take a sip of Pepsi because that hurt my damn throat. But maybe
good luck with that.
Maybe Vince has gone. Maybe Triple H has finally gone to Hunter and going, you're wrong. This is the future. Don't you? Maybe somebody finally showed him a tape of NXT. Maybe Stephanie going to that last takeover show got her to go up to her old man and go, "Look, Dad, this is what we need to do. When you die, this is what we're going to do." So either you could get on board and groom it now, or we'll just sit here and wait till you kick it. We'll sit here and wait till you buy the damn farm, and we're going to run it how we want it anyway. It's going to be harder to rebuild it. Well, once you're dead and gone, if you do run this into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's a crazy crackpot theory, but I don't know. Something.
It could be. It could be. I just don't know if he realizes what he has on his roster right now.
And here's my big bone to pick with Cena. Okay. Dude, why don't you just grab a mic and call the spots in the ring with a head mic on?
Can he try at least?
Come on, dude. Cover. Have you seen Botchamania?
Botchamania.
You've never heard of Botchamania?
I think I did, but I'm not sure. I don't think I saw it.
It's a show done by this guy named Matthew, okay? And he has indie talents come on and go, "Hi, this is blah, blah, blah," and you're watching Botchamania. And it's sometimes they put video game music to it or whatever, but it's literally botches of wrestling matches.
Oh, look at this.
You looked it up, didn't you?
I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm watching this all night.
He's never heard of Botchamania, folks.
Sorry.
They have a segment on there called "Everyone Talks," and it's Michael's talking on a microphone, and then it goes too much, and it leads to Taker choke, getting him in the goozle. But they also have one that's called "Cena Talks Too Much," where it's Kane grabbing Cena.
Okay.
And the whole point of that segment of Botchamania is Cena calling spots, that you can hear him call the spots.
That's great.
This is going to make it to Botchamania because it's like, get up, shoot me off, European, bam.
Yep. European.
And I could hear it, and I'm sitting here, and maybe it was because I have a headset on and I'm watching Raw on my computer and I could hear it better. But my God, there was at least 4 or 5 spots. There were 5 or 6 times you heard Cena look over at Cesaro and go, "You okay? You okay?
Yeah.
All right, do this."
He does have a tendency to do that.
It's like, come on, dude, it's Cesaro. He's fucking a thoroughbred and you're a damn Clydesdale. Of course he's okay.
Yes. And that's going to lead me to my final thing that I want to talk about with you.
All right.
Okay. So you have that match. Everybody loves it. I specifically went to, and this isn't the point, but I'll get to the point. I specifically checked out JR's blog today because I remember on Last Impact where Angle and EC3 did the title match. I thought it was an okay. I'll say I thought it was a good match because TNA doesn't really put on those style matches. Okay, but JR tweeted after that match, 4 Germans and a whatever, and he ends up winning. WTF? So I made the point to see what he would say about that Cesaro and Cena match, because by my count there were 3 cross faces. There was the big suplex, there was the neutralizer, there was the big swing, and Cena kicks out. JR just simply said, "Well, I enjoyed the Cesaro and Cena match," and then he put over Cena in his article. But that's not the point. The point is, that being said, Kevin Owens comes out, and what happens? Cena barely survives. Super Cena mode, and here we go again. And we talked about this off air last night a little bit, but Kevin Owens all of a sudden is the cowardly heel. He's all of a sudden, he backs down. That's not the Kevin Owens that I've seen.
We've seen that a little bit.
A little bit, but
not to this extent.
Why? What are they doing? Why? And what happens to Owens? God forbid they book Cena to retain.
Did Vince finally get his hands on this one?
I think he may have. He took Triple H's guy, and now he's gonna. Well, pal, we got to strip you down to build you back up.
Do exactly what they've done with every other NXT talent that's come up. Which, if they do it to him, it's going to scare me even more. I've said it all
Then
along for the last year. If you're in NXT right now, you're begging not to be called up.
it's a problem. Mr. White, it is a problem.
They've called up. They're calling up two more. They're calling up Sasha and Charlotte, and it scares me to death. Maybe not with those two because those two fit in with the current
Yeah.
moniker of diva. But for somebody like Becky who likes to work, for somebody like Becky Lynch who likes to work, with people like Dana, what's her name, Dana Brooke.
Yes.
And the bodybuilder chick. Oh my God! If Vince ever gets the bodybuilder chick, it's China 2.0.
Yep.
She'll be inducting China into the Hall of Fame if China ever does get in.
Yes.
But I see your point. Why did they, me and you were talking about it. Hey, doesn't traditional WWE booking state that the heel goes under on the go-home show and then goes over at the pay-per-view?
Yes.
And that's classic WWE booking. My friend, actually, I did never picked up on it until my friend, who's a bigger Stone Cold fan than anybody. I want to talk about that here in a moment.
Okay.
But he even goes, dude, I've noticed, and this is without him reading dirt sheets. He goes, I've noticed that whoever loses on the Raw before the pay-per-view generally goes over at the pay-per-view. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But then they stray away from that a couple of times during the year. And I'm sitting here going, if Cena takes a pop-up powerbomb next week, then we pretty much know that Owens is not winning that belt, and Owens is just going to go back down to NXT to feud with Joe.
Yes. Yes.
And then where does Cena go from there?
Where does Owens go from there? Right back to NXT,
honestly,
and it makes no sense.
If it were me, I would have John Cena lose that damn belt and have his ass disappear for a while, okay? Or maybe even go feud with, I don't know who. But and it doesn't matter because it's Cena and it's going to draw no matter what. The women and the children are still going to watch him, okay? You could have Cena on Superstars every week and Superstars would pop a rating. Come on. It's just how it is. But I think if I'm booking it, I have Owens win the title. And the first thing I have him do on Monday night is come out and cut a promo going, I'm a prize fighter. I got this championship belt, and the first person you have walk out is Cesaro, and you're off to the damn races with this.
Yep.
The promos don't even have to be good because the matches would speak for themselves. But Claudio Castagnoli can cut one hell of a promo when he has to.
Yep.
I remember his ass on cutting a promo for Ring of Honor one time where the backstage geek with the $30 Kmart sports jacket is sitting there interviewing Cesaro. And Cesaro goes, how dare you even try to ask me a question wearing what you are? He goes, look at this, $300. Where'd you pick that up? Kmart on special? And you Americans still wonder why we think of you the way you are. You don't even know how to dress. And he cuts the promo on whoever and he goes, and here's one thing I'm going to do for you, interviewer. And he pulls out like a wad of money. He goes, I'm going to give you some money. And he sticks it in the little breast pocket. He goes, you're going to buy a new coat. And I will see the rest of you at such and such when I kick such and such's ass. And he's saying, Claudio could cut a damn promo when he wants to,
Yep.
And they had to do something with him because I know what you're saying. Well, he was floundering or whatever. He wasn't floundering. They were pushing him and Kid. And
yes, they were.
Kid got decimated by Joe. But to everybody's credit, for those of you saying that Joe ended Tyson's career, because I have heard that one in the recent weeks, they've pretty much admitted that Tyson took the bump wrong.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and watch it, I saw footage of it. He had his neck cradled, Joe did, the way it should have been.
I saw the footage too. It's the same way everybody else has taken it in the past.
Raw ratings aren't going to be out tomorrow because of the holiday. So apparently you're going to have 6-man tags now with Sasha Banks,
Charlotte,
Paige, and Charlotte versus the Bellas and Alicia Fox, I think it is.
Yep. Team Bella.
Oh, man. 300. Please, that 300th day couldn't come soon enough.
And
that's just another dig at Punk.
Punk, I know. And we're two CM Punk fanboys.
And one thing that,
and I know, but come on.
Oh, man. One thing that got brung up about the whole 300 thing and all this is that a lot of people are equating this to the fact that you can't really take the title off of Becky or Nikki and push the whole Divas thing because of the fact that she's dating John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to piss Cena off. Well, what's Cena going to do? Threaten to not work? That would be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, well, Joe, Cena's putting people over recently. He's having the matches of his career out there. He couldn't be better. He's in his prime. He's in his prime. No. What happened to the last decade where you've been phoning it in? You're having these matches now. It's because the crowd has woken up.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys who you're in the ring with aren't going to placate to the whole 5 moves of doom style. And they're working around you. But Cena's putting him over. Well, Cena's a company trooper, and he's going to do what he's told.
If Cena puts Owens over and drops that belt, I know you enjoy some fantasy booking as well as I do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you... Okay. Brock is... I don't know. Brock beats Rollins? Are you going with that?
I don't know. Me, personally, yes, because the title needs to get off Rollins immediately.
Yes, I agree.
Because and then the thing is that do you still have Rollins and the Authority at the centerpiece of Raw because Brock is not going to be on every show?
It seems to me they are doing their best to flirt Triple H versus Seth. Possibly SummerSlam?
You're not as good as who you say we are. We made you, and I'm going to prove it to you. Yeah, I'd go for that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Okay. If they go that route, and like you said earlier, if Cena would just go away, well, that's not going to happen. Who does Brock take on at SummerSlam to sell it?
See, that's just it, because that goes against what I have been saying for months, and that Brock needs to go up against Owens. But you can't have champion versus champion, really. Title for title, unless they try to do the ROH bit
ROH,
now.
maybe.
Unless they try to do that, is that, hey, you could have Owens come out and go, you know what? I'm a prize champion. 2 titles means twice the money. My kids are going to have a good Christmas this year up in Canada.
Let's pretend that doesn't happen. Does John Cena find his way into Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam to sell it?
Oh, God. Hey, okay, I'm...
Are you pacing yet or no?
No, I'm not pacing yet. The thing is that I don't pace for Cena booking.
Ah, okay.
Because it's... I'm so sick of tired of Cena's matches, too. There's a whole, I'm down, I'm out. Oh, he's coming off the ropes, pop up, F5, or FU, goodbye.
Yep.
You know? Me, it's still the FU. I call it the FU because fuck you, Cena.
There you go.
Anyway. But it's the same ending to every match. You got him on the ropes. He's got Cena on the ropes. He's going to beat Cena. Oh, nope. All of a sudden, Cena just finds a last-minute burst of steroid strength and pops up and he hits the attitude adjustment.
But, Joe, you don't understand. He put Owens over in the first match.
He put Owens over in that first match, Joe. It's the rubber match, see? So, I don't know. Better hope one of them's wearing a rubber.
Yes.
Golly.
Interesting.
I don't know how they booked that, man, where they go. And what kills me is, the writers ain't thinking that far ahead.
No. That kills me, too.
Yeah, and that used to be, Do you think...
we did that show, that roundtable, and we talked about WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 5. Mm-hmm. And I know I was one of the guys, and I think Larry also said, that story was so well written out and the way it was played out. And you're looking at close to 2 years there, 18 months at least that story was going on. Where did that go? Can you still do that in 2015? Or will people just, drop out in the second month of it?
They carried Brock and Rock on for a year. I mean, Cena and Rock, excuse me.
Okay. That's true. Yeah, but then Rock, would disappear for a little bit, and then they would refresh it.
You had Brock Lesnar as a champion for 8 months or 6 months, and he didn't appear, but maybe on what 2 or 3 shows, one pay-per-view. I don't know if they could do that in 2015.
I know I would enjoy it, but
I would think now Ring of Honor could, because I would have I would have Lethal hold both those belts for a year.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's another thing. Who does Lethal drop that world title to now? Because part of the reason why damn and here's another thing I would love to see. Wouldn't it be a shocker if Colby Carino rose up and took the TV title off him?
Wow. That would be a shocker.
That's a bold statement right there. But let's say him in the Decade or the Decade does it, and maybe you do some training packages with him where they finally, take some interest in this guy or whatever. Or maybe he has to win a match first.
Yeah.
Which I think he did. Didn't he win a match? He won a tag match or something.
He was in a tag match, I believe.
He was in a tag match, and he got the pin on somebody, didn't he, just recently?
I believe so.
And Carino's just sitting there kind of nodding, going, that's my boy, which... Do you end up seeing Colby versus Steve Carino taking on the Decade at Final Battle this year? Yes.
Yes. That would be cool.
Or maybe Decade versus with Colby Carino and shit, who else is in the Decade? It's sad when all you can think of members of the Decade is Colby Carino.
I know. It's Page,
Adam Page, and
the big guy, PJ Whitmer.
Whitmer, okay. Whitmer and Colby Carino. Maybe you do a 6-man tag. Whitmer, Colby Carino, and Adam Page versus Steve Carino. Maybe you have the Decade, who is new school, versus Team Old School. Get a couple of ROH legends to come back,
Mm-hmm. Well, going back to your original question, who will take that title off Lethal? Interesting you ask, because I was just having a conversation with a friend today, and the only thing we can come up with is the returning Austin Aries.
I was going to say that, but then again, it's like, oh God, it's so predictable.
But what if you make him chase for a year? Just like what we're talking about. If they could somehow do that and make it interesting for a year, that would be kind of cool.
The matches would be decent, though.
Mm-hmm.
How long before the whole Truth Martini thing comes to an end, too? I think the whole Truth Martini thing, and that they started something this past week with him wanting to ask Lethal something, and then Martini's like, wait, nope, I got to get my word in first.
Yes. Yeah, that could keep happening.
I think that I don't know who takes that belt off of him. And that was part of the problem with Jay Briscoe, is like, who the fuck do we get to take the title off Jay Briscoe? And because it's like, okay, it was kind of like the old Triple H deal back in like 2003, 2004. Was like, oh my God, and even back in 99 and 2000, from 1999 until about 2003, it was like, oh God, who's going to beat Triple H? Because there was that whole string of about a year where it was like Triple H just ran through everybody, and it was the whole deal of, I'm going to be the heel who you pay to see.
Yes.
Because you'd want to see if this guy's going to beat me, not the other way around. You're not going to want to see the face beating the heel. You're going to want to see the heel get beaten by the face, if that makes any sense,
Mm-hmm. The other option is Adam Cole leaving the Kingdom, obviously.
Yeah, see, that's what Ring of Honor is all about to me, is making new guys.
Yes.
They
have a knack for it.
They have a knack, but the thing is that, again, you can't eat at the kids' table no more. Because
Right.
Ring of Honor kind of for a while knew their place, and their place was to make future stars.
Yes.
Hell, part of their moniker was where future stars are made, One thing that pissed me off during this week was the show opening. The last person you should see in your opening of your show is your champion. You still saw Jay Briscoe.
Yes.
They've had 3 weeks to change it. Nope.
Didn't do it yet.
And I think that, maybe they're, now that they're on US TV or a major US network, you can't do that no more. You can't prove it. You can't be the company that goes, we're going to build this guy till he gets signed with WWE and the crowd's going, please don't go. Please don't go. You can't do that no more. Nope. Not on Destination America, man.
That's over. And we mentioned the Briscoes re-signing.
Yeah.
They have to take that as, okay, no one else leaves this company.
Thanks for listening to part 1 of the first official episode of Blading for Surge here on 1640 PWPR. That's facebook.com/1640 PWPR. You can also find us by searching the podcast section of iTunes. Just search 1640 PWPR. Also, if you'd like to find me, I'm on Twitter at Wrestling Truck, as well as facebook.com/NewSurgeLive. Jeff Edwards, he can be found at facebook.com/Blading for Truth Wrestling Radio, and you can also find him on Twitter at Blading for Truth. Also, everybody, please check out 1640 PWPR, facebook.com/1640 PWPR. There's a lot of great podcasts on there. We got the Ken Rady Show. We got Blading for Truth. My show, New Surge Live, The Blind Tag, Cool Down with AC, King Firehawk's show is on there. There's other great podcasts on there as well. We're growing each and every day. Again, facebook.com/1640 PWPR, facebook.com/1640 PWPR. We'll be back again next Friday with more Blading for Surge here. I just want to let you guys know that there is not going to be an official New Surge Live episode for the next couple of weeks. There are going to be stuff on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/tonsoffunwwe. But part 2 of Jeff and I